Okay, how to create the applied detail you cut out of craft card for the bottles. So find an image first of all. I'm going to find an easy one and possibly one that I use for the bottles. Let me just have a look here. So we're going to do a snowflake. So we want something that's fairly symmetrical. I could have probably planned ahead a bit better. That one looks quite good, so let's go with that one. Now, once you've measured your bottle, and you know kind of how long it needs to be, just create a shape. So I know it needs to be 25 centimeters, so let's make it 25 centimeters. And this will be your guide for what size to make your image. Bear in mind the height that you might have in the bottle, but I'm going to make this slightly smaller. So the bottle I'm going to do has got a height of 5 centimeters that I can play with. So as you can see, this one's 5.26. So we need to make it slightly smaller. So let's just make it 4.8. Perfect. Just send that to the back. And what we're going to do is duplicate. I'll just take the two of them and duplicate them. And let's duplicate again. Now, as you can see, this is actually slightly longer by doing it this way. So what we're going to do is just get them as close as we can. So we're going to maybe turn these ever so slightly. You kind of want them to look like separate snowflakes to make sure they're all touching there. Just turn it slightly. I think everything looks like it's touching there. Let's find out when we weld it. Not quite actually. This one at the end is just not quite touching enough. Let's weld it again. And I'm just going to check that everything's joined up there. Perfect, because you want this to come off in one piece, which is really important. So let's put on the smart guides again. I just want it lined up with the end there, and we can see that it's slightly bigger, but that's okay, because what we're going to do is just put the strip across the top there, and we can actually make the snowflakes slightly bigger. So I'm just going to make it ever so slightly bigger, and what I'm going to do is slice it. So I've just sliced a couple of bits off the end. Then the reason for doing that is when this end here, I know you can't actually see that, but when the ends meet around the bottle, they'll be joining up on a flat, sort of flat edge there. And that's it basically. So just double check the size, 25.02. Let's just change that to 25 because that's what we actually need. You can always trim it, of course, slightly, and it doesn't really matter too much if it doesn't just quite meet, because the chalk paint hides a multitude of sins, of course, and that's just, you make sure that bit's at the back of the bottle. But that's how you create the image. We can do another one. So let's do a Christmas tree this time. So let's find a Christmas tree. Let's pick a fairly straightforward one. Of course, there are hundreds upon hundreds of Christmas trees in Design Space. Just scrolling through them. I've used this one already, so let's do this one again, just for fun. So I'll create my shape again. We'll use a square, and it needs to be 25 centimeters as well, so 25 centimeters. Now, obviously, with this image, you would need a taller bottle. The other bottle I've got has a space for about 7 centimeters. So just for the purposes of showing you, I'll make this 7 centimeters. I need to undo that because it wasn't locked. 7 centimeters. And we're going to do the same again, so we'll duplicate. But because these are angled all the same way, let's flip them over. So flip horizontal. And then we'll just duplicate that. Duplicate it again, and duplicate it one more time. And then we'll just start to join these up. I'll have to switch off the smart guides for this. Obviously I'm on iPad here, you don't have smart guides on desktop. They don't need to be lined up perfectly because we're going to go in for a fairly random-ish look. But you'll see the same again. Now let's weld these together and see that that's okay. Remember, you can always undo a weld. That looks about right. Now let's make this square taller so that it covers all the Christmas trees. So let's unlock it. Make sure it's still 25 centimeters. No, it's not, you see, so let's make it 25 again. Now, as you can see, the black shape is bigger than the Christmas trees. We want the Christmas trees slightly bigger. So let's lock it and just make it slightly bigger. And just check the height of the Christmas trees, 7.6. That would probably be too tall for the bottle that I'm using, but we'll just squash it down a little bit. It actually won't make too much of a difference. Squash it down to 6.96, but as you can see, it still looks like Christmas trees. It's absolutely fine. So we'll just place that there, and we're going to do the same again. So we'll place it over the square, select all, and then slice. Move the Christmas trees away. So you see you've got the two flat edges right in the corners there. That's the bits that would be joined together. So you get a better join that way. And I can get rid of all this. So there's the Christmas trees. And of course you can adapt them quite easily if the bottle's bigger or wider or whatever it is. You add an extra snowflake. You don't have to use just one snowflake, of course. You could use several because there are hundreds in Design Space. So you could potentially have that one, that one, that one, that one. I'm just randomly selecting snowflakes here. That one. So let's insert all of them. And it's the same. You just undo, lock it first. Just resize them to suit whatever you need to do. Move them out of the way. So if you wanted to do a bottle with several different styles of snowflakes, very, very easy. The process is still the same. When you weld them all together, of course it all turns one colour. That's very, very quick, and I wouldn't do it just quite like that because it's not very well lined up, but you get the picture. You get the picture. Just like that. See? Simple.